It is finally here, the brand new Toyota RAV4, and what a smash hit this design is. I was not expecting it to be this good looking, specifically now that we have the GR Sport as a trim level, and that is by far the one that I would pick because the front end of that definitely looks like the Corolla GR, but now on a RAV4 with the Camry top graphics of the front end. Is just a beautiful looking design and it's still very recognizable as a RAV4. I think Toyota has absolutely nailed this design. So we're going to have a look at this, of course, in Photoshop. Compare the old one, the GR Corolla, and the regular RAV4 and see the design changes here. And why I 100% think the GR Corolla, GR Sport, is definitely the best looking here. But before we do that, let's have a look because there's a lot to talk about here. So let's jump straight into this article from Car and Driver because there's a lot of new tech, of course, with the 2026 Toyota RAV4. So 2026 Toyota RAV4 goes hybrid only, and the plug-in hybrid EV now packs 320 horsepower. That is a lot in this segment, and the plug-in hybrid gains fast charging capability and new GR Sport trim level. Great to see that. The RAV4 is an all-new model. Nothing is recycled in this model right here. The standard setup has 226 horsepower with front-wheel drive, or 236 horsepower with all-wheel drive. And if you get a RAV4, I can see it, not a lot of people are probably going to take it off-road, but I would definitely want to have the all-wheel drive version at least. And you also get a bump of 10 horsepower when you get that. So it's supposed to start arriving at dealerships later this year. The RAV4, the best-selling SUV in America, is going hybrid only. And this is a huge deal for Toyota. They cannot mess this up when it comes to, pricing, tech, design, and so far I think it looks very good. It's already begun to it's going hybrid only, which is already making up a large portion of the sales in the US. So it only makes sense to go hybrid, and I think that's a great idea. Their EV range for the plug-in hybrid is now up to 50 miles as well. So you have a fresh design inside and out, has more horsepower, adds the new GR Sport trim level, and gains many new connectivity and driver assistance features. You do have the hybrid, uses a 2.5 liter inline 4, but it's more powerful than before with 226 horsepower in its front-wheel drive. And then you have the hybrid, the all-wheel drive, 236 horsepower, optional all-wheel drive here. And it also adds a third electric motor to power the rear wheels. The plug-in hybrid setup, this is, again, if I were to buy this, I would probably go for the highest spec, the GR Sport with the plug-in hybrid setup, because here you get almost 100 horsepower more than the non-plug-in hybrid. Now you have 320 horsepower in the RAV4 Prime, which is a plug-in hybrid, compared to 302 before. So it's a pretty substantial bump. Electric range is up from 42 miles in the previous version to 50 miles in the new model, and this is great. I love this setup. When you have a little bit of electric range, if you want to go full EV, you can do that. 50 miles is probably enough for most daily driving back and forth to whatever you're going. So if you want to, you're going to save a ton of gas, and it's also going to be, of course, a little bit quieter and more smooth when you have it in the EV mode. And it also has the DC fast charging capability now. It claims to charge the battery pack from 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes, which is not bad. You can go into, do your grocery shopping, and then if you have a charger outside, you can just plug it in. Once you come back out, it's going to be fully charged. The towing capacity is up as well, with most all-wheel drive hybrid and plug-in hybrids model rated at 3,500 pounds now. And then you have the all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive hybrids, the 1,750 pounds. Which is the same as before. So if you're thinking about towing, definitely go with the plug-in hybrid for sure. The exterior design here still has plenty of black cladding, as we're used to seeing these interesting shapes around the wheel arches. That's so common for a RAV4. It's sort of an identifier for RAV4s. But the thing here, it looks brand new, this vehicle, but at the same time, you still instantly recognize this as a RAV4. I think it has to do with the 3/4 panel back here. A lot to do with that, because that is definitely RAV4 in the new one as well. So the headlight shapes mimic a C-shaped unit on other new, that we've seen on other Toyota models as well. Toyota calls this the hammerhead. And then the rear end has an interesting looking LED taillight which stretch across the tailgate. And this is usually these days, I don't know why, but the 3/4 rear view of new cars are usually my favorite view, and that happens to be with this vehicle as well. I'm going to show you the regular RAV4 and then the GR Sport RAV4, and I'm going to show you from a 3/4 rear view just how good it looks with these new graphics in the back. So in the interior though, this is of course standard these days. We get fewer buttons, unfortunately. They say here, we're sad to see that the climate control knobs are gone, replaced by a combination of on-screen controls and buttons on the lower edge of the infotainment screen. There are still a few hard buttons lower on the center console for driver mode selection, for example. And there's a lot of trims here. You have 7 trim levels in 3 different groups. So you have Core, Rugged, and Sport. The Core models include LE, XLE, and Limited trim levels. Then you have the Rugged, which includes another very, very cool trim level here, which is the Woodland, the off-road version. So you can have the RAV4 exactly as you want it. If you want to have it be more off-road, you go for the Woodlands. If you want to have a sportier version, of course, you go for the GR Sport. Now, the Woodland here comes with all-terrain tires, standard all-wheel drive as well. The Sport grouping, of course, include the SC and XSC, and also the new GR Sport, which has this more aggressive appearance and also a different tuning for the suspension. And it also comes with 20-inch wheels wrapped in summer tires, looking great. And this, if you go for the GR Sport, you're gonna get it with the plug-in hybrid setup, the 320 horsepower setup, all-wheel drive. It sounds like a great vehicle to me. So Toyota won't release pricing on the 2026 RAV4 until closer to its release date, but you can expect a small bump over the current model, so you can expect it to probably be base LE around $34,000, and then you go up to the top of the line GR Sport plug-in hybrid about $51,000. My 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. With that said, we gotta jump into Photoshop here and check this out. They just unveiled this vehicle, and I was pleasantly surprised to see the design of this thing. I think it's a beautiful looking car. The old one came out in, when was it, 2019? Something like that. It still looks pretty modern, but I was never really a fan of this, because we have this angle going down and this angle going down as well. We have these angles also pointing downward, so everything is like drooping on the side of the face here, or in the front face of the RAV4. I always wanted to have something to balance this out, some line that goes this way or something like that. And looking at the new one, it looks a lot more grown up for some reason. We have a lot, this is of course the GR Sport, and then we're gonna have a look at the regular one down there. But comparing these two, this looks like a much more upscale vehicle all of a sudden when you have this hammerhead design. I knew they were gonna do this because we saw this in the spy photos. They were gonna have the same sort of Camry styling for the front end, the Prius styling right here. I like the black bar here because this separates a little bit the lower graphics and the top half graphics. And then we have this beautiful lower section of the GR Sport. It just looks like a copy from the 2025 GR Corolla, this front fascia. You have the LED fog lights right there. You have the big grills, intakes right here, massive air scoops to cool down this plug-in hybrid engine. And I do like the integration of the headlights here, because thankfully what they could have done just having the daytime run lights being positioned up here, and then have the main headlight unit sit somewhere in this area. But thankfully Toyota did not go that route. Instead, they made properly designated headlight units with both the daytime run lights, and you also, of course, have the main headlights in there as well. You have a black section down here, black graphics at the very low section, carving out some of this volume. And this goes very high up here in the side. As you can see, we're going to talk more about that in a minute. We'll look at this from a side view. But let me know what you think about this. To me, I just feel like this is maybe a $10,000, $15,000 more expensive vehicle just by the look of it. Maybe because we're so used to seeing this RAV4 in every single street corner these days. Now, looking at the non-GR Sport down here, still looks good, but I mean, come on, compare this to the GR, and the GR just looks not just sportier, but to me, it just feels more sophisticated in what's going on in the graphics here. This looks super simplistic if you compare it to the GR Sport. I think it has to do with the grille here, also these openings, the mesh being so large, it feels like it's almost like a low resolution grille. Maybe that has to do with just how simple the front end looks. Even though it's a beautiful looking design here, we have a lot of chamfers, still fog lights down here, and we also have this black piece now going up a little bit further into this area, and you also have the cooling here. The grille seems to be open, and of course the same design for the headlight unit as we have on the GR Sport, so I'm not going to change that up. We have these very rugged pieces up on the hood here. Check this out. Reminds me of the Lexus models these days, where you have similar raised up portions on the side of the hood, almost exactly like we have here. Of course, the black graphics coming back here as well. Both of these vehicles look beautiful. They look way more, as I said, grown up and sophisticated. They just look like there's more detail in these designs compared to the old one. Now, looking at the side view here, and check this out. We have the GR Sport. Thankfully, this is pretty interesting here, because up top we have the regular one, and you can see the proportions here, typical, specifically the shoulder line, which has always been fascinating to me to see, because we have a chamfer going down here, and then the shoulder line kind of starts right in the middle of this chamfer going forward. We have this line at the bottom, we have some carved out portion for the black graphics, and these are the black cladding that I always want to have this connect with this area down here. I don't like this blue piece that creates this section, as you can see, with the body color right here. I want to have this be connected to the rest of the graphics. But this is what makes the RAV4 unique. This is how you can identify this just by looking at the black plastic around the wheel arches. Looking at the new one here, the non-GR Sport, we have that one down here. Now look at the shoulder line here and the sculpture of the side of these new RAV4s. It's to me, I think it looks very, very cool. I think it also looks, maybe I would call this beautiful, because what we see here is chamfers coming back in car design. In the best-selling SUV in the US, we have a beautiful chamfers all around the key graphics, and then we also have this massive chamfer right here, as you can see, and the same cladding here. They didn't connect it here. You still have the same recognizable black plastic around the wheel arches, which is totally fine. We have another chamfer going around the wheel arch here, and look at the shoulders, the sculpting in the side here. We have one nice, beautiful looking shoulder line here, and then he dips down from the D-pillar into the side, creating this interesting design in this area that goes down. It looks almost a little bit organic, because we have a fluid line going up or swinging upwards, connecting in a small little radius in this area, and then have this very subtle design in that area right there. Not really a lot going on in the front fender as it does in the rear, but this is what I was saying. When you look at this area of this vehicle, the RAV4, you instantly recognize it as a RAV4, and I think that is going to happen with the new one as well, because there is such a unique design. We still have the floating roof, meaning that this is actually not a floating roof. This is just a two-tone roof. We have the black roof up top, looking great, and these taillights just look fantastic as well. What's interesting here is usually we put black wheels on the Sport model, but in this case, the non-GR Sport get the black wheels. I guess it's fine. I mean, black wheels, I thought that was a thing of the past to put that on every single new vehicle, but Toyota decided to go with that on the non-GR Sport here, as you can see. Now, looking at the Sport version, the GR Sport down here in red with the black roof, and I do believe these are not, they don't look black to me. They look sort of very, very dark silver, and I take that over completely black wheels any day. We have the same styling, of course, in the shoulder line here. You can't really see it as well in this red, but it still looks very beautiful, and I do like all the line flow that goes on here. We also have this nice muscle over the rear axle, creating some plantedness of this vehicle when you're looking at it from a 3/4 rear view. I do believe this is a plug-in hybrid port right there. And look at the front end, just how stately this is. A clear vertical design for the front end, nice chamfer right there, and then straight in to the A-pillar, looking very, very cool. I really like this design, specifically when we look at it from a 3/4 rear view. I mean, this is where, to me, where you can clearly see just how big of an update this is compared to the old RAV4 up there. You can see the just how much more modern this new one looks specifically when you have the new taillight units, and these look great. This reminds you of a Lexus when it comes to the styling and the overall finish of this design. I love that it says RAV4 right there. We have a nice roof spoiler here as well that probably houses, it doesn't house the wiper. The wiper is still located on the rear window, which is totally fine in this price range. Well, look at this beautiful chamfer going on here. We have a nice looking bumper and diffuser graphics in the lower section. But these taillights, to me, huge improvement over the old one. This is where you can definitely start to see just how dated these taillights look now that we have it to compare with the new one down here. It looks stunning in my opinion, and specifically again when you have it with the GR Sport. A little bit more sporty design for the diffuser here as well with the bumper. This is blacked out instead of having it be silver like we have on the non-GR Sport. Still looks good in both, but again, I mean, 100% I would go for this specific spec for the RAV4. It looks beautiful. The proportions, the plantedness, everything about this RAV4 looks 100% in my opinion. Now, last but not least, the interior. So this is, you know, this is what we get. I've said it so many times before, but buttons are going away and we're getting into more screens. I mean, it's been in that going in that direction for a pretty long time, a couple of years now. So we should be used to it. But I can't help but just miss this portion of the interior. Instead, now we have this new screen. We have a big infotainment screen that sticks up a little bit too much for my taste up here. I want to sit lower in this area. And then we have the gauge cluster right here as well that does not have a cap for it. I would love to see that as well. And as you can see, if we zoom in here, you can see that all the climate settings are located right here in the software right now, which is also something that I would want to have. Just take this same unit from the old RAV4. Just take the same unit. You don't have to update it. It's totally fine. Just put that in here again and, you know, keep the physical buttons. But you still have some buttons here, for example, what does it say, tow maybe, or snow, or drive modes right there. Or here you have the drive modes, and then you have a couple of USBs here. You have a new gear selector, just a small little knob, 2 cup holders, and of course a new steering wheel that looks pretty industrial to me, but definitely looks way more modern than this one. This is again a, when you compare it, you can definitely see the age of this interior for the old one, even though it's still a nice looking interior because we have the cap analog cluster here and a smaller screen, which I prefer. The new one, again, if you want to, you know, have a car out in 2026, these are the changes you have to do to the vehicle. So overall, a fantastic job by Toyota and the design team of Toyota, specifically when it comes to the exterior design. I mean, I'm a huge fan of this vehicle, and I know we're going to see them in every street corner, and honestly, I don't mind that moving forward.